Welcome back to the 1204 podcast. Another very special edition, if you ask me. And yeah, nobody asked me, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
I'm back.
Back. We said he'd be back, and we made a promise.
I promise, bro. I promise.
And here we are, back doing our thing. And of course, like as we talked about the last time, artistically, these episodes, although they were like put together in my head, have completely taken on a life of their own.
As always.
And our subject matter that we wanted to get into last episode kind of turned into a conscious awareness of our, surroundings and our situation, the current climate of the world.
Right.
But here we are.
Oh, and now we can talk about it.
Yeah, now we can get into it. And even better than that, Mr. Dre says, being back in the building, I got one of my best friends sitting across from me. And
Hello,
to be honest, we got her out the house. Right. And that wasn't easy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I love you.
That was not easy, but we got her out the house. You know what I'm saying? And because of our, social distancing, everybody's exactly the right length of a, you know what I'm saying?
Stay away.
Keep that shit away from me. We air pounded it. That's what we're doing now. We're not even physically like,
Wakanda.
You know what I'm saying? So this is the first time, honestly, and I think it's a great way to keep preaching, you know what I'm saying, that there are great people out there that we should get to know, that we were just talking about that on our little powwow before the show. So, Margaret, tell the people who you are, tell them what you do, tell them why you do it.
Okay, so my name is Margaret. My Instagram is Mars World. You can find me on there. I also have a business, Adore Lash Bar. I've been doing lashes for about, I want to say 3 years now. Gotten pretty good.
Self-made.
I got a lot of clientele.
That's what's
so
up.
Life's good. In the daytime, I work for the city school district. I'm in the health field. Yeah, I work with the kids. I love it. Right now, we're not working with what's going on. Shit's kind of crazy.
I was just about to ask you.
It's been weird.
Yeah,
I'm not working.
Yeah.
They took us out. They're trying to basically find work for us, but it's been like pretty crazy with all the layoffs and stuff. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Again, 1,000,001 thank yous, right, for you coming out and doing this for me. I thought it was going to be a great look, you know what I'm saying? And by the way, you guys, she is episode 8. So
yes,
continue to wait on that because that's going to be a very juicy, you know what I'm saying? I love your hair, by the way. You look like a doll. You look like you came fresh out the packaging.
Shout out to Olivia Dinetti, Scott Miller, guys.
Let's go.
Oh, Scott Miller.
Yes.
So
That's
before she showed up, right, I was talking to Dre about like, you know what I'm saying, directionally, like flow of the episode, you know what I'm saying, every little minute detail, you know what I'm saying, that we got to think of before we start these things.
While still trying to keep it organic as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So he was telling me a story, and then like, this is kind of like, this is taking it in a whole like, but I'm glad we got a female here to kind of counteract the testosterone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, finish telling me what you were telling me, my boy.
So it's not a negative thing. It's just something I'm not used to. I'm a very passive person when it comes to this thing of like relationships and dating.
Passive aggressive or passive?
Passive.
Okay.
So like what I said was, we talked about this before. I don't believe in relationships. I don't want to be in one. I've done them in the past and I'm just at that point in my life where I don't want to. So the thing that shocked me was recently I met someone that I've known apparently for years. Not apparently, I have known them for years, but we were never close. But she's gorgeous, like not trying to front, like drop dead gorgeous. Very intelligent, very great. But,
sounds like a winner.
But initially, I was shook because she came off super, like, aggressive.
Yeah.
Like I'm not used to that. You know me. Like I'll just sit back. I don't really shoot my shot a lot. You know what I mean?
You like to play hard to get?
I don't play hard to get. I just play like, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So whatever. So she sent me a message. She said, Dre, you're dope. I said, oh, shit. I haven't talked to this girl in years, like high school kind of long time.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, I'm 36, right? So I'm like, thanks. I appreciate it. We start talking. We start talking about, just my ideal on relationships and how I'm not in one. And her response was, see, this is why I can't find a guy or something like that as dope as you, ...
All right.
My reply.
All the hints getting dropped.
Right.
All right.
She was shooting her shot low key.
Low key.
Like, this is why I can't find a guy like
low
you.
key shot it.
Okay.
And
so there was that's the thing that got me. There was no low key about it. Then the next message was, I think you're really dope. We should hang out sometime. So I was like, oh shit, okay. Like, mind you, this is the girl in high school that I was like over and never talked to.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. You know me though. Like I said, I'm kind of laid back. So a week goes by. I don't send a message. I don't call, nothing. 2:30 in the afternoon, FaceTime. I'm like, who? I'm looking at my phone.
That's
like,
when you know
oh,
it's
shit.
real.
Right.
That's when you know they're trying to check in on what it is exactly you're doing when you're doing it.
So my whole thing was I wasn't used to, I hate to call it aggressive, but that kind of aggressive approach from a female. Like normally it's supposed to be on our end. So the way that I get away from having to do relationships or hang out with people is I just don't.
That's a really good version of aggressive though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'd rather that aggressive. Now, wait a minute. Margaret, if somebody was like worth being that aggressive over, can you still, and I'm asking you this kind of like out of left field, but could you see yourself like reacting that way? Like going above and beyond, you know what I'm saying? Where you're making the first initial contact, your FaceTime calling, you know what I'm saying?
Me personally, if I'm interested, I feel like sometimes I come off intimidating. I've been told that I'm very intimidating the way that I come off as a person.
Right.
And I feel like if I want something, I'm going to get it. Like I always get what I want. So I guess I am that type of aggressor.
So
I'm used to getting what I want. So if I don't get what I want, it's like, what?
I'm not used to that.
See, women have egos too. That's what we sometimes forget, man.
I think that's it. And after hanging out with this girl, because before all this stuff went down, we hung out like literally the Saturday before everything got shut down. She is one of those women that has everything together.
Yeah.
And so we were talking and I'm like, I can't figure out why she's single. But then in the back of my head, I'm thinking because you have everything together. Like that's
I've morphed into that like myself, like in older age at 33 years old. I want someone who doesn't need me to need me. And that's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? I want a girl who has everything about her own situation going for her long before I come into the picture. So you know what I'm saying? And then I come into the picture and then take her to that. We take each other to that next level.
So do you want someone that doesn't need you to need you, or do you want someone that doesn't need you but wants you?
It's a very good question. And like, to be honest,
you still want her to need you.
I still want her to need me a little bit, bro. Like
I think that in this generation, things are definitely different than when I was a kid. And, you know, my parents have been married 29 years. My mom's only been with my dad. So now in this generation, and I kind of feel that girl you were dating, you know, I'm very independent.
Right.
I live alone. I've been alone for a while. You know, I was in a long time relationship. Then when that ended, I kind of just floated around and now I'm just doing my thing. And when it comes to men are like dessert. Like you want them, but you don't need them all the time. Like
I like that explanation. That's
you know what I'm saying.
But see, this is the crazy part. Could I say that about a woman and not be yelled at?
But
like women are like dessert.
Women are needed. We create children. We create children. We're always gonna be needed.
Bro, that is not the same thing. They're not gonna take.
Women are like
that's
desserts.
not the same thing. That's just not.
You
the
might as
same
well
thing.
say
Especially from a fat boy. You see a fat boy say that, bro. That's a whole problem. Women are like dessert.
I feel like now when you have an independent woman, you have to be on your P's and Q's. Like you have to know her worth. You have to know what kind of person you're dealing with.
Right.
It takes a lot to deal with a woman that has her own because we feel so like if we do it by ourselves, what exactly are you needed for?
Right.
You know?
And can't nobody
what do
take
we
none
need
from
you
you
for?
I feel like that.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's not a need. It should be a want.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and my personal opinion. So
it's an essential. Men are essentials.
But so I'll give you this. So me and my sister are very close, right? Like we're super close. We talk all the time. She's married. She's been married for 13 years, 2 kids. She's got the big house, great job. You know, she's perfect, right?
Picture perfect.
And I ask her because my sister is an aggressive woman. Like she's like my mother. Like they don't take no shit. What they want is what they want. They get what they want, right?
Yeah.
I asked her, how do you do this? She's like, what do you mean? I said, I know my brother-in-law. I know he's the soft guy. He's the one that takes care of the kids. He loves doing that. He works with kids outside of his home, right? So I go, how do you do it? She was like, every woman at the end of the day wants to feel like a woman.
Yeah.
She goes, all my independent friends, all of my solid friends that can do everything for themselves, they don't need no man. She goes, at the end of the day when we talk, they do though. They want that man. They want that man to treat them as a woman and be a man, even if they don't need him.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's true.
So but like I kind of like, because I have my own daddy issues, right? And I saw how my dad like dogged my mom out like for 21 years, like straight, because he used to dog her in high school.
I mean, don't get me wrong. My parents were together 29 years, but my dad also cheated. You know, he left us for a while. He actually cheated with one of my mom's good friends.
Yeah.
You know, and shit was weird. We moved to Florida, and they finally got back together. They decided that moving back here would be a better start for them, and eventually I ended up back over here.
Yeah. See, I had opposite experiences. Like I've had my real father, but my stepdad's been in my life since I was 2. Both of those men are overly loving.
That's just good co-parenting.
Like smothering loving. Like I love like love. And my mom is the total opposite. My mom is a get the fuck out of my face. Like I love you, but don't be hugging up on me kind of person.
For real though.
Sorry, mom, but it's true. I love you, but
for real. I think we were talking when we were in the cafe, kind of just like talking podcast things, right?
Right.
I remember telling you, like, I really don't remember my dad being that like type like at all.
Correct. Right.
Like the huggy, hey, you did it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We didn't play catch outside.
I'm not affectionate at all either.
No?
Yeah,
not at all. I don't like being touched.
I read a book.
I'm not really a hugger. I tell my brother and sisters that I love them.
Yeah.
But I'm legit the person, you know, when the ball drops on New Year's, I'm like in the bathroom hiding because I don't want everyone hugging and kissing me once the ball drops. I don't like it.
Oh, you are ice cold.
My parents used to force us to go to church on New Year's. And, you know, everyone in church would hug you and squeeze you. And I'm like, oh, who are these strangers touching me? Right. And I just...
So you're perfect for this climate we're in right now.
Social distancing.
Yeah.
I'm just not affectionate.
For social distancing.
It's very hard for me to be comfortable with a man. Like once I'm comfortable, I'm maybe a little bit affectionate, but it's hard to get it out of me. I'm not at all.
Not to cut you off, sorry. So I totally say it all the time. Like, I don't believe in relationships until, I mean, like, everybody's like, you'll find the one that'll get there. I'm like, no, I've done it, blah, blah, blah. But on the flip note, and this is where girls get upset with me, and they tell me all the time, this is where you get confusing, Dre. I'm a Cancer. I love affection.
I'm a Scorpio.
The holding,
This ain't that.
Ooh, super sad.
Super
sad. This ain't that.
This ain't that.
Right. But I am, like, hold the hands, cuddle, all that good stuff. But then I won't commit. And that's when they're like, and it's not a negative thing. I'm not committing because I want to be out here in the streets. I love myself more than most other people. Like, and it
that's
sounds
just being
fucked up.
Selfish, though.
Is it though, or is it taking care of
being
yourself?
Selfish.
Is it that or taking care of yourself? So Ezra has been witness to the time in my life where I cared more about everybody else than myself.
Yeah, he dated my sister. I don't think I got a chance to like tell you. Did I tell you that?
I think so.
I did.
We he
definitely. That's how I met
for
Dre.
a while.
Dre was in a relationship with my sister for like. You dated my sister for like 2 years.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. Again, going back to like how these relationships.
Huh?
She broke your heart?
No. I didn't get my heart broken until. So okay, I'll give you this. She did, but not when we were dating.
It was long after the fact, right?
Right. This is like
it was way long after the fact.
5 years ago.
Because again, shout out to my sister. She knows I love her to death.
Yeah.
We're estranged as of now, but that's a whole nother story. Blah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna blah blah. But shout out to my sister. But she was she's toxic. She was toxic at the time, and she was one of those toxic girls.
We're always toxic.
And aggressive.
We're always
like,
toxic. Us women, aren't we always so toxic?
She is a living, breathing future meme where it's like him texting into the phone. Sorry, I missed to say Thanksgiving, but happy Thanksgiving. I love you. Like that was my sister, and not have talked to you 6 months before that. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes.
And it's crazy because the time that we had together was great. I enjoyed every moment of it because we were together, but we never really were like together. Like we never made it like, yo, we're Facebook official type bullshit. But everybody knew. Like people would see us and know the difference. But like I said, she didn't break my heart after that. When we stopped talking, then it was more of a like, I got fed up with certain shit. She got fed up with certain shit. We split ways.
But what is that? What is that whole we're not together, but everyone knows we're together? I went through
That's
a
a social
situation
media
like
thing.
that, and I think that's bullshit. Like
that's a social
are we
media
either in
thing.
a relationship or not?
To keep it a buck with you, it was when I first started my clothing line. And I cared more about that than I did creating a relationship. And she cared more about it than creating a relationship. She was one of my biggest promoters.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like the drive for that was so big, so ready. And then once we got to the point where we were thinking about settling down, she started nursing school.
Yeah.
And she was starting her career. And then I was pushing off on mine. So it was just like, this ain't gonna work. Like,
yeah.
And like I said, but it didn't happen. We didn't get I didn't get my heart broken until like 5 years after we stopped hanging out.
Yeah, and again, out of that relationship that didn't work, sprung me and him. And I'm glad you didn't break up with me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? At least we stayed together. We've stand the test of time.
Bro, I've had to. I've saved you on multiple occasions.
Oh my God.
Like,
you know what's crazy? The crazy thing is we'll never have enough time to tell the people like what we actually like.
Not all the stuff
had to go through.
We can give him one good one.
But yeah, I would give him one good one. And I hope it's the one I'm not thinking of. And I hope you tell something.
No, I mean, you know it's going to be when I had to go scoop you up on Elmwood out in Pittsburgh. So real quick. So I'm chilling with your sister at the house. Yeah. Her kids are there. We're all having a good time. It's like, I don't know, 10, 12 o'clock, right? At night, I get a call. It's Ezra. He called me like 2 or 3 times. I wasn't picking up because I'm hanging with my girl essentially at the time, right?
I get really emotional when we talk about this.
Right, sorry. It's not funny. I shouldn't laugh at this. So he called 2 or 3 times. I pick up. He's kind of frantic. Yo, I need you to come get me. I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? Yo, come get me. This girl's crazy. I'm like, okay, I'm on my way, bro. Send me the address. He texts me the address. I'm like, yo, I got to go pick up your brother. She's like, of course. Your sister goes, of course, right? So I'm like, I'll be right back. Let me go get him. So I get it. I'm hauling over there because he sounded frantic.
I was in need.
I pull up to the house. No lie. I get maybe 2 inches into the driveway. He's bolting out the crib. As he gets closer to my car, there's scratches on his neck. Clothes are ripped. Like, my man looked like he just went 12 rounds. So I'm like, I'm laughing.
Not 12
not
rounds.
knowing what actually happened.
12 rounds.
Not knowing what actually happened. I'm like, yo, bro, you okay? Like, and I'm laughing. And he's like, nah. And I'm going to let you tell this part because it's not.
Like, here's the thing, right? I think sometimes we as males find ourselves in situations where you're left to not even like fight somebody off. And I'm using the word fight loosely. Now, this girl was obviously off of it. You know what I'm saying? Tito's was not kind to her at all. You know what I mean? So then we get back to the crib. Now, mind you, I'm that guy. You know what I mean? You get me loaded. You start touching up on me. You're liable to, you know what I'm saying? You can take me home with you. You know what I'm saying? Right. So she definitely took me home. Now, mind you, we're in her mom's house. And this girl from the gate was just
really nice
one of those overly aggressive.
So this happened
girls.
at the mom's house?
Yes.
Yeah. She was staying with her mom. She was staying with her mom.
Aggressors.
She grabbed me and ripped my shirt, and that's when I knew like she was a little too off of it. So I was already.
Was this sexually or it just turned?
This was sexually. This was literally an instance where I remember. Now, mind you, I'm a child of abuse. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So some of these things are just natural triggers for me where I'm not like, if I'm not with it, I'm not with it. You know what I'm saying? And she was really, really, really about it, like too much about it. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even those things at that point that I even wanted to like go through it. You know what I'm saying? Even thinking like, oh, I don't want her to throw up on me or nothing like that. But she was like really, really aggressive. And then like put her hands around my throat and like, I'm like, oh man, bro, like, wait a minute, you know? So I took a moment where we were just like on the bed, whatever. And I just kind of like got up, grabbed my stuff and bolted. Like it was over. There was going to be no like way out of something like that peacefully. You know what I'm saying? She was like off of it. And I was like, and the very next day, like she was like fronting like she didn't know like it got like that. So she was like, if I did or said anything, I apologize. Like,
what?
It's not that. And I'm like, bro, wait a minute.
Yo, when it's nighttime.
You assaulted me. Right. you assaulted me. What do you mean? What do you mean let's get breakfast? Like, no. Like, we need to talk about this, like, for real.
When it's nighttime and I can visibly see the scars as you're getting in the car.
You saved me,
bro. I was like,
bro.
Yo.
You saved me. I was waiting for Detective Stabler to show up from SVU. Like, I was literally like coming down the driveway, like, okay, I made it out of that one. Just dodged one.
Some women are just aggressive like that.
That
like,
shit was crazy.
I've never been the type in a relationship where we get into an argument and I feel like I have to raise my hand and hit you or we hit each other. I've never been in a situation like that. I've had guys act like that with me. But
which I never understood. That
I never grew up in a household where I seen my father hit my mother. My parents never hit each other. They never ever. They would argue, but never. My mom was more of the aggressor. She was always arguing, and my dad would just brush her off and just leave. He'd just ignore her and make her more mad.
Right.
But as far as me being an aggressor, I'm more of the like silent but deadly. I'm so, let me say, I'm a firm believer of the silent treatment.
Really?
Yes.
Yo, that irks me.
You fuck with me, it's done. It's 3 strikes and you're out.
I just won't talk to you for weeks.
I will not talk to you. Holidays, your birthdays. We don't need happy birthdays. It's done.
We don't need to argue, but like I need to talk. Like I have to talk.
I'll just leave you with that confusion. Like, what is she thinking about? And I'll just be quiet.
And then I'll end up packing my stuff and moving out. She'll be so quiet. She'll have no idea.
We'd never speak again.
And this is this is a good point too. I do that. And people like my sisters told me like, yo, you're fucked up for that. I literally, once I'm done with a relationship, will never talk to you again if I can help it. Like I will literally just act like you've never existed.
And then boom, you're in Wegmans during the apocalypse. And you see her. You see her in the bread aisle. You see her in the bread aisle reaching for the last loaf of honey wheat.
Or you get that text like, "Hey, I know it's been a while, but I just wanted to say Merry Christmas."
For real.
You know what?
For real.
I would never.
I'm lucky.
I see your birthday's coming up.
My latest ex lives in Toronto, so I'm lucky. I'll never have to see her. Like it kind of works out that way. But I try to do that. I try to avoid that. But when we're together, we don't have to argue, but I gotta communicate.
I think only if it ends badly, because I've had some breakups where we're still friends, like it's a mutual thing. But I just feel like with me and most guys are just mean. Like they're mean.
Really?
We don't try to be on purpose. That's not
I feel like
thing.
I'm a busy person. I work 3 jobs. I also, besides my business, I work at the city school district. I work for Heritage Christian Services. I've been with them for about like 5 years. I do a lot of things.
Shout out to Heritage.
I like to do activities. Yes, I try to stay busy.
Right.
Like when Ezra told me about this, I thought this was like a great idea.
It's dope.
And I'm always down. I'm always down to do whatever. So with me, it's very hard to see me. And I come off as those girls that are like, we can chill, but it has to be at night. So automatically guys
they're
are
trying
thinking,
to get them skins, bro.
She just wants to date. And
I'm coming over.
That. I just don't have time to hang out with you in the daytime because I'm doing all these other things.
Do you communicate that to them though? Like, listen, I'm busy.
I'm a hard worker. Listen, if me and you, let's say you say, can I take you out on a date? And we make plans to go on a date and my phone rings and 2 clients hit me and they're like, hey, can you book me or fit me in? I'm going to cancel our date and I'm going to get this money.
My kind of girl.
Take me as like money's not everything.
First date or like multiple dates?
It could be first date, second date. It's happened first dates. I've done it to several guys. Sorry guys, but I have done it to a couple guys.
But this is one of those. This is one of those catch-22 things, or I think that's what it is. I don't know what it is. But if a guy was to do that to you, would you be okay with it? Like, okay, so say we were supposed to go out, and I was like,
and I don't mean that in the bird sense. I mean that stuff just kind of rolls off her back. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I mean that's great.
As long as the bills are paid, I'm good. I'm not stressing nobody.
For real.
I'm young. I'm motivated. I know what I want right now as a person. I think us all women, whenever I see someone down or going through things, I try to motivate people and tell them like, look at me. I'm strong. I'm motivated. I do everything by myself. I don't need from no one. And I'm blessed. I'm highly favored. I thank God for all my accomplishments and things. But I work my ass off to be where I'm at.
You are one of the smartest people.
Yeah, I work my ass off.
That's awesome.
Of knowing.
I'm the definition of bad and then bougie. I work my ass off.
I'm not gonna lie.
And
this
feel
is like an early birthday gift for me. The fact that you both now and you have that common. You know what I'm saying? Thread between y'all. Mm-hmm. Y'all both did 2 episodes with me. You know what I'm saying? Hers to be done at a later date. Again, she is episode 8 on the 1214 podcast. This is conversation, companionship, and entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Have you listened to the first 2 episodes?
Yes,
and what did
you
think of them? Real quick.
I love them. I thought that they were great. I thought that Gary, he's a very positive influencer in the environment. And I think that a lot of people need to know who he is.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty dope. Also, Lindsay, I know her. Shout out to her.
Yeah.
I love her. She's dope. I've known her for a while. I've known her before I knew you. Yep. So she's dope. But I love what you're doing.
It's going to be a lot of fun having you back.
Yeah, I think everyone needs to tune in. It's going to be a lot of fun
with the one-on-one.
Heck yeah.
And as always, Jay, you know what I'm saying?
It's a pleasure. I know.
I got you with anything, anytime, anywhere. We're gonna do this again.
Yo, matter of fact, when you drop this episode, we're gonna do a giveaway.
Absolutely, let's do it. We're gonna make it happen.
FlyDefinition.com giveaway. We'll do that.
So go follow him at Dre Says on Instagram. You can follow me at 1204.thepodcast on Instagram and at Diet Cola Poppy at Instagram. Go follow Chris Kanye on the Chris Kanye Show.
Thank you,
Go
Chris.
listen. Rock Pod Net is on Instagram as well. Mars World on Instagram as well.
Yes, Adore Lash Bar, my business.
Everybody be healthy.
Follow
Everybody stay safe. Stay home. Stay your ass home and listen to
wash
this podcast.
Your hands, don't touch your
Please
face.
wash your
You know
hands.
what? Love you guys. Thank you guys for being here. You already know.
Thank you for having me, man.